The new channel. See the new. The new channel. See the new. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the new channel. Here to help you see the new you. Magandang pananghalian, good lunch, marhay na pangugtuan. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, your host at HR Hotline. Welcome back to the new channel. This is HR Hotline, and this is a wonderful lunch. We have a very special guest. And what is our topic? Ballet lessons for HR practitioners. But you know, the first segment, it's actually insights, HR insights, to give me my years of experience to share with you in a monologue, in a conversation. Actually, we are still in that early portion of HR Essentials, which is roles and competencies most needed at this time, at these challenging times. Nabitin po tayo doon sa Ulrich. We'll go back to that some other time. But you know, let me share with you some HR competencies that we must have. And let us later on relate that to ballet. I even have some plans to invite a rector of a seminary to tell us the formation program that HR can also gather and replicate, or somebody in architecture to teach us what we can gather from architecture. This is a time that we have to look beyond what we are doing, the competencies and the roles what we are doing, and then do it for us. So, what are the 8 HR competencies generally that we need? Knowledge. We have to have knowledge. Remember, competencies, they are KSP, SAK, attitude, skills, and knowledge. The worst is, ignorante ka sa nangyayari ngayon. The worst is, mas mahusay pa yung security guard sa'yo ng protocols. You must have the entire knowledge of what is the anti-terror bill, what is COVID-19. The second one is about communication. And of course, every time that we have an episode, we have a show, this is actually mentioned. The third one is actually commitment. We discussed that in employee engagement last time. And that is now a competency. A competency wherein you're committed with what you're doing. With knowledge is critical thinking. Common sense is not so common anymore. And sometimes we think we have the highest IQ in the organizations, but we forgot to think critically. Ethical approaches, the logos, the ethos, the pathos. Try to review them. Governance, your drama, how you relate, and then the organizational skills. Woe to you if you are an HR and you don't have that organizational skill. Much more that you are now dealing with people who are working remotely. So communication, analytical, relationship building, and leadership also. So these are the skills. Oh, competencies. I'm sorry. I would like to correct myself. I was talking about competencies. And what are the skills? The skills are, in particular for HR, employer relations. Naturingan ka pang HR, then you are not so, walang empathy, walang relate. It's not that you have to be goody-goody or sweet. No. But you must have good employer relations. And besides, we were taught by the previous guest speaker, Ms. Antoinette Eliones, that it's everybody's employee engagement is everybody's concern, everybody's responsibility. But HR, what is the role of HR? You're the one suppose the program, you own the program. You should initiate it. So the employer. The other one is onboarding. You must have that skill, that rapport. Actually, onboarding is rapport. I was just earlier, our co-producers first met our special guest. In an instance, there was already rapport. And that is what you call onboarding. Then, this is not in order, by the way. HRIS. The more that, my God, I'm so poor in that. We are using StreamYard, Zoom. But you know, when I was in Inquirer, I was actually very, very much engaged with job market online, obituary online. Then what more? Teamwork, the team building that you do. And what else? Performance management. That is a skill from coming up with a JD, coming up with raw clarification, coming up with the objective settings and the assessment. What other skills? Customer service, project management, decision making, budgeting. We are going to discuss it from time to time. Why did I mention it now? Why did I mention it now? Because our topic is actually ballet lessons. But before I go to ballet, I still have around 15 minutes. Let me greet my Maria Christi Sarte Rebustillo in Naga. Marvin Soilo. Marvin is a very, very nice HR person. He is watching us now. And then Jamie also. Mr. Roman Boyson, kumusta po kayo sa Ulfo? And then I will mention her later on. Susan De Jesus Ongoko. Thank you. We are watching from Houston. Then Apple is also, ay, ang aking kababayan sa UAS, si Porfirio Rumulo Riva. Okay, so yun. And try to share this. Try to share this. Now, ballet lessons, my nephew, I asked him, is watching now, is a violinist. One of these days, we'll try to look for somebody. What an HR gather from the performing arts. But ballet is a performing. Now, yeah, my niece is a ballet teacher. So I requested her to watch this episode. So what are the competencies of dance? HR people listen. You know what is nice with StreamYard? Because live, there are people who are watching. But you know, afterwards, you can, people view it. It's recorded. It's recorded. And you can see that it's being watched days and days after the live show. So going back, so what are the competencies of dance? Managing self. O di ba, that is similar to a competency for a competency needed, required of an HR person. Managing yourself. You are aware. Of course, you have to manage yourself. Say you are going to dance. Then you are not in the mood. Walang mood. Mood management. Of course, if you're going to dance somebody, Giselle, maybe. So the more that you can be in the mood. But if you're now dancing something happy, mood management. Then that one of motivation. HR also needs that. Motivation to really feel free that you're going to dance. What else? Goals. Goal orientation. So one is managing self. The other competency is relating to others. Of course, I used to be what do you call this, a partner of a dance. If you don't relate well, the ballerina may fall if you don't catch her while she's turning. And then you have to relate yourself with the core, with the choreography. Just imagine there is a choreography and the blocking is that you go to the left and then you go to the right. So that is very similar to an HR. Now that you're in a Zoom meeting, everybody's going to the left, but you're going to the right. Then what is the next one? Your participation and contribution. Very HR. So that is a competency in dance and in ballet. Then the use of the language and the symbols. The body English. Ay nako, yung HR na burangot. You are sending bad signals. Diba? So dance is very, very similar. And then thinking also. Thinking. You think that the dancer, even if there is a choreography, they are just robots? No, they think. Just imagine you're going to dance following a sequence. What will be the first, the second part of the dance? Just like playing the piano. I play the piano, but it's a very jealous art. I read the music, but from memory, sometimes there are already lapses. So what are the skills? Posture. Posturing, CBA. When I remember when I was with the CBA, there is the term that was given to us by the lawyer. Jesse, your physical and your behavioral posture. Your posturing in the way you talk, in our mentorship, in our coaching. And that is also the skill in dancing. Balance. Oh, I remember Inquirer. Balance news. Fearless views. But this is different balance. You may fall. If they catch you, you will fall. And very similar. In the offices, you must have balance, equal treatment to all. In the Zoom meeting, wherein the president is there, the general manager there is there, and the staff is there, you must be able to balance that everybody communicates. Alignment. This is one of the problems that we have. You must be able to align your personal vision to the corporate vision, your mission to the corporate vision. I only have a minute to go. Then coordination. Let me share this with you. Nalalaman daw kung matalino ang bata doon sa twinkle, twinkle sa umpisa. Oh, look at me ha. All of you look at me. Look at me. Ha? Okay. Tingnan nyo. Close, open, and close, open. Malalaman na kung matalino ka. Close, open, and close, open. Di ba sa mga bata? Close, open. Oh, cute. Oo. Mana ka sa daddy mo. Pag sabi ng close, naka-open ka. Close, open. Oh, coordination. At nalalaman din ang tao kung you are really pardon ha, medyo may intriga, intelligent, you know how to dance. A person na pareho left foot, nakakatakot po yun. Kasi wala ng coordination. Then, we have what we call, ano yun, yung sarili mo. Diba? Elevation. Yung mga lumampas ka, you go beyond. Diba? Sa HR, this is what you call the SWOT analysis. Okay, I've used up my time. So, later on, I will introduce our guest and I will tell you the topic and then we'll continue. We'll do away with the hotline so that we'll have the whole 45 minutes. Anyway, mag-share yun ng ating host. So at this time, we'll have the gap, the first gap of this episode. Welcome back to the HR Hotline. And our topic for this episode is ballet lessons for HR practitioners. I am very much engaged with ballet. My mom is 93 years old in Legazpi. And before COVID, pre-COVID, she was still was teaching ballet. My niece Jamil is a ballet teacher. I grew up with ballet. If you notice it, my studio here, it looks like an art gallery. But I'm just telling you of my DNA. I cannot do with it anymore. I grew up in a household, the finer things in life. So, our guest for this afternoon, starstruck po ako. I have been a fan ever since. The time that I came here to Manila and she was already back to Manila, I always watched her shows. And there was a time it was her birthday, and I was so privileged that I was invited to her birthday. Oh, she is the ballerina of the people. A celebrated Prima ballerina. The first foreign artist to be accepted by Kirov Ballet. That's the Russian ballet company. She's multi-awarded in the field of dance, cultural radio education, and artist welfare. I know she was with Ma'am Sandy at the TOYM. She's a teacher, choreographer, artistic director, Ballet Manila director. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, my idol, let's welcome Lisa Macuja Elizalde. Welcome po, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much
Hi.
for giving. Yes. Oh, I noticed you have your paintings also at the back.
Yes, my husband's paintings.
Wow, wow. So,
Mm-mm.
so Sir Fred really paints, and those are big paintings.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's
Thank you for
start.
having me, Jesse, by the way. Thank you for having me in your show.
Yes, I always see when I was with Inquirer, I always have to invite you. And there was when I was with PSTD before at the Gawad Maestro with Femari Kabantak, we invited you, and we were floored by your speech. That was years ago
Thank you.
at the first Gawad Maestro of the Philippine Society for Talent Development. Okay, so the question is, I started with competencies. So what can the
Hmm.
HR gather from the ballet dancers' competencies? What can we learn from? Because you know that, let me correct me if my definition is correct. Ballet is a theatrical art form that puts together dance, music, and I forget the last one. And anyway, so what what can we gather from ballet?
Well, basically for any HR, any person actually that engages in the discipline that's called ballet, ballet training, basically it puts you in touch with your body. You become respectful of your body because your body is your instrument, and so you take care of your body. That's one. You also have are trained in the various skills, so this can make you uncomfortable at times, so you deal with pushing your body, um, beyond the limits of what it can do. For example, if you need to bring your leg up and you can only bring it up to 45 degrees every day, you practice, you strengthen your muscles, you you practice the correct technique, and with the proper guidance, eventually your leg will go higher and higher and higher. But again, it's no pain no gain. But really, it's a commitment. You did say that earlier, that you needed coordination, you needed balance, you needed all of these different skills in order to become an effective HR person. And I think ballet training and ballet dancing can uh, enhance or bring you these skills. But most importantly, I think it's really teamwork and keeping an open mind and an open body into learning new skills, and um, get dancing, and also at the same time developing your own ability to express yourself with your body. And it's a mind and body partnership. So your
Yeah,
mind, yeah, your mind tells your body what to do, and there are times when your body is not that cooperative, so you have to work harder. Or there are times when
true.
it all clicks into place, and then there's that magic aha moment when um, it all works out, and you get this huge feeling of accomplishment and reward in also being able to perform a dance or a routine, and at the same time get a physical workout, be physically fit. But it's not through, say, it's a different workout, because it's a very social experience. You dance with other people, you make friends, and it's not just going to the gym and then lifting weights and doing repetitions. And it's a very holistic experience, because it involves music, it involves expression, it involves movement, um, it involves musicality, so you have to be in time with the music, and so it just activates a different side of your brain.
Okay, you mentioned the word discipline. And in
Mm-hmm.
HR, we train, we have learning and development. Tell us that portion of discipline, the tedious, rigorous training that ballet dancers do, so that we can gather from you, so that in our training, we can gather from you what we are going to do with our employees or also in the training mode.
Yeah. First thing I think basically is you need to decide and commit. So if you
Yeah.
have, yeah, if you have like this dream of becoming a ballerina one day, you decide and commit as early as possible, because becoming a ballet dancer, a skilled ballet dancer, it's not something that you can learn overnight. It's
I like
practice,
that. I like that because there are a lot.
repetition. Yeah,
Let me cut you. Allow me to cut you off this coverage. I like that because
no problem, no problem.
there are a lot, Lisa, wherein they think that they have seen somebody and then they just follow and then they can already dance ballet. And then they are already in what you call that? In the ballet shoes, on ponte. On ponte. Tell us
Yeah.
about that. Can you just
Well,
buy one and then do it?
no,
It
of
may
course
break your
not.
leg.
There's a technique. It takes a lot of time. It takes at least 1 hour of daily practice a day, every day for maybe 2 to 3 years before you
Wow.
can develop the strength and the agility and the skill to be able to say go on point.
Let
Um,
me
that's
let me
that's
repeat
why
that.
dancers have to start young.
Let me repeat that. Develop the strength, the agility, and then there's a third one. Yeah, so that means that in training, we really have to tell our employees that we cannot really get it as fast as they can, just like in ballet.
Yeah.
And then
No,
I
it's
like it.
not
With this,
something you can learn overnight. No. You need a diverse sort of skills to be able to dance. You need to know how to turn. You need to know how to jump. You need how to know how to coordinate one ballet step and connect it with the other. That takes coordination. That takes the guidance of a qualified and a very good teacher. So um, it's you are not born with the ability to dance. You need to train for it. There are some dancers that are born with a natural body for dance, but it is a learned skill.
so that means just like in corporate, you need a coach, you need a mentor. You
Yeah.
cannot just go into the business world without somebody telling you what to do. So that
No.
is what we can gather from ballet. How many
And you
years?
can't learn it from a book. It has to be like,
Oh,
the art of dance, the art of ballet, it's passed down from one generation
I
of
love that.
dancers to
I
the
love
other,
that.
to the next
I
one.
love
Yeah.
that. I love that. You cannot get it from the book. So there should
No.
really be somebody, a Lisa Macuja, a mentor, me, and an Obet Policarpio to tell me firsthand what to do. I love that.
Yeah.
We are
Mm.
learning. We are learning from you. So from you, where did you get your the grace and everything? Tell us.
Well, my mom brought me to my first ballet class. I was in
Wow.
grade 2 in St. Teresa's College, Quezon City, and my mom was my first like ballet idol because she danced until she was 13 years old, and then she got affected by the ballet ban in the 1950s. When the papal
Oh.
nuncio said it was bawal to it was a sin to dance ballet. So we actually lost a whole generation of ballet dancers because of that religious edict that all girls going and boys going to Catholic schools should not practice ballet anymore. Um, but anyway, I did commit to it as my career or something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. when I was 14 years old, and I got very inspired by watching a performance of Yoko Morishita in the Cultural Center of the Philippines of Swan Lake. Kasi she was, Yoko Morishita is a Japanese prima ballerina. She was tiny. She was like me, very small, but she was there dancing this great classical role of Odette Odile in Swan Lake. And so I got really inspired by that because it was so out of, it wasn't something that you would expect from a very Asian looking ballerina to be able to
Yeah, yes,
dance
yes.
Odette
That is a
Odile
tip
in Swan
inspired.
Lake.
Yes, yes. That
Yes,
inspired
well,
you.
for me,
Then,
yeah, that really inspired me to go into ballet. And I think the biggest the biggest I guess opportunity that I got in order to succeed as a ballerina was when I decided to go to the Russian Ballet Academy in St. Petersburg, Russia, when I was 18 years old and
oh,
trained
still
there for
too
2 years.
young. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I left the Philippines for Russia and committed 2 years of my life to just training in the Vaganova system in the Russian Ballet Academy, uh, that really changed the level of which I was able to practice my art. I, I'm a case of my reality far exceeded all my wildest dreams because I thought that happy na ako if I just was able to do the dance, the Don Quixote Grand Pas de Deux once. But I was able to dance the full length Don Quixote many, many times over. And yeah, and again, all the classical roles many, many times over because of the foundation that I got as a classical ballerina in the Russian Ballet Academy.
Wow, 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 wow. So what I gathered from you that HR can use, one is commitment early in your life, and we can use that in our career pathing
Mm-hmm,
mentoring. You have to,
mm-hmm,
I have my best friend here, Femery Kabantak, would like to greet you. Let me, Jesse, please greet Lisa for me. she was the she was the head of the Gawad Maestro of the PSTB before. Okay. Now
mm-hmm,
the second one, aside from commitment, is the foundation. The foundation, you mentioned that, and the third one is when you joined Kirov, level up. So HR. These are keywords that we are going to use for our L&D. I remember in the PSTB, Femeric and I are coming up with a framework. And the first one is on the discovery and molding. And that is what just Lisa shared with us. That
mm-hmm,
hindi lang pwede na we put into their throat the the programs that we have. But we have to look into, is this needed? Is it the path? Is it actually the desire or the discretion of the person that he would like to be in that particular career? So Lisa, can we continue? Can we continue with our conversation? Now,
mm-hmm.
you're also an educator and a choreographer. Okay. In your role now as a choreographer, what can we gather from you that we can use as an HR person? I watch your Lola Basyang. I watch
Uh-huh.
your oh my god, your what do you call this as a performer, your Romeo and Juliet. I
That's
umiyak ako
actually
ninyo.
live streaming tonight at 6 p.m. I'd like to
Oh,
invite
let's
everybody to. My swan
which
song
one?
of Romeo and Juliet is
I
live streaming tonight at 6
All
p.m.
those who are watching, watch it po.
Yeah.
Kasi I've seen mga around three versions of Romeo and Juliet. Kasi si Lisa po, theater, it's not ballet plus theater. Kung makita mo yung kanyang expression, ay madadala ka talaga po. Oh, well, anyway, napalayo tayo. So what can we gather
Uh,
as a choreographer and as a performer also?
Well,
from you po.
as I said, a great performance, any performance really, it's a team effort. It's You may be the star of the show, but you are backed up by 60 other dancers who train just as hard and practice just as much as you. There's the choreographer, there's the director, there's the lighting technician, there's the costume designer, there's, again, it's a whole collaborative effort, and all of these people bring in 100% of all their different talent and experience and knowledge and skills, and work together in order to create a performance.
I love that.
And so again, as HR practitioners, it's really not just you. You
I love
it's
that.
it's having the ability to bring out the best in
I
every
love that.
one of your
Very
um,
good.
students, or every one of your employees, or every one of your um, uh, uh, people that you are training. And again, it is it is something that you need to realize, that every one of these people dancing with you, for example, side by side, are are completely different persons. They're not, you can't put
Right.
them in one category. You can't say, okay, you all have to follow me because this is what, kasi nga iba-iba ang tao eh. So iba-iba
Right.
the iba-iba the pace they learn. Some may be introverts, some may be extroverts, some may have grown up differently than others. They have other learning methods. They take more time to learn something. So you have to be able to, as you said earlier, strike that balance with your entire team, so that you are, and then the again, it's practice, really. It's the amount of time that and effort that you put into, say, training sessions or practice sessions together, that because it's again not something that you can create overnight. So you really have
Yeah.
to be invested and be ready to invest your time and energy into a
I
project.
love that. I love it, Lisa. So it tells us that there can be a prima ballerina, but there is no prima donna. A lot of
No.
trainers, a lot of HR sometimes. I love how you express it, how you share it with us. You should not be the center, parang
Yeah.
ego. Yeah, you have
Yes.
to think
And
of
as a
everybody.
like as a choreographer, I had an idea of the steps, but then it's still a collaboration with the dancer.
Right,
So
right.
so if you're trying to, say, create a dance, you're still saying, okay, is this comfortable for you? Does this make sense? It's still,
Right.
again, it's a collaboration, and you can't just say, be the dictator and say, do it my way. This is what I want. This is what you're gonna do, because at the end, you're really the choreographer. You're not going to be the one on stage with the dancer. It's the dancer
Oh,
that's
I
going to be on
love that.
stage.
I love that. That
Yeah.
is an
So
insight from Lisa. That is a
mm,
code. At the end, it's not actually the HR who is actually performing it. So,
yes.
kasi no, this is a little bit negative. Kasi ang HR, if you don't follow, ang inaisip ka agad, matigas ulo, then will let the person go. You cannot do that in dance, maybe. Maybe if you're the choreographer,
Well,
you can just
no.
start. You cannot
Well,
just,
I don't
you
know.
know,
Maybe, but the arts, kasi it's it's a bit, it's very broad. It's very subjective. I mean, if you have somebody who clearly does not follow all the rules, then maybe that person needs to be let go. But again, because the arts collaboration, sometimes a mistake can be
yes.
the best thing to happen to a project. There are times when a mistake is crucial, not to be done, and it's really very destructive. But at the same time, a mistake can make you learn and make you thinks of a way to do it differently, and at the end, win, create a win-win situation.
Let me ask you, was there a time that you were dancing and there was a lapse? You forgot what is the next thing that you're going to do?
um let me I can think of several times when my partner forgot what's next, but yeah, there was actually a time, I was in Havana, Cuba, and I
Yeah.
only had 4 days to learn and rehearse and
Oh, that's a
perform
short. Yes.
my very first Swan Lake. And it
Wow.
was the worst Swan Lake of my life, because there was a time, I think, on stage when my partner was pushing me towards, that way, because I thought I had to go the other way. So, pero hindi naman siguro nahalata. Pero yeah, so again, I had 4 days to learn, rehearse,
So what
and
did you do?
and
You was
perform.
there any, was there innovation? Was there something that you did
Well,
so
there was
that
a lot of
hindi mag?
cramming. There
Mm.
there was a lot of cramming, but no, I just had to trust my partner, because
I love that. Trust,
yeah,
trust the part. Yeah,
yeah, you just
yeah.
have to trust your partner, because at that point he was also dancing Swan Lake for the first time, but he was a member of the Ballet Nacional de Cuba, and I was a guest performer. So he said, go over there, and I'm like, okay, I'll go over here. I was, flapping around and saying, okay, I'll go over here. And then there was a time when, because I didn't have that much time to rehearse on stage with the corps de ballet, there was really a time when I didn't know where to go, and I was surrounded by all of these swans, and I really didn't know where to go, and I was their queen, and I was their swan queen, and they were the ones telling me, okay, go there. It's like, okay, I'll go here.
So you that is actually coordination, teamwork. That is actually
Yeah,
teamwork.
yeah,
You're the
and
queen of the
also,
sun.
yes, yes.
You're
And at
yes,
the
yes.
same time, you really have to acknowledge, sometimes you really have to acknowledge your own, say, weaknesses, or your own
I love that.
hum humanness. You are
I love
human,
that.
so you make mistakes, and you acknowledge the fact that there are experts in the field that know better than you, and are able to help you. So why not give them that opportunity to help? Open your mind up to the fact that you're not the be all and by all, to be followed blindly by people. You also um, give yourself the opportunity to make it a mutually beneficial experience, and a mutual learning
Yeah,
experience,
experience.
with everybody. You learn. I
Because
mean, I teach every day, but I still learn a lot from my students.
yeah,
I
that
continue to
I love that.
learn.
Yeah, yeah. Last question before we have the gap or the advertisements that we have. Pero last question. Actually, two questions, Lisa. One is, of course, you mentioned to us all the tediousness, all the everything that is being done on stage, but the audience can see the what is wonderful, what is so nice to see. But in fact, actually, when you're doing it, there are a lot of stress and a lot of coordination and cooperation that you do. So my question is, I mentioned that earlier, thinking. Both ballet and HR has that as a competency, which is critical thinking. Yung
Mm-hmm.
ballet nga, mas malalim eh. Kasi, I hope, I just read it eh. It's something that is Um, and anyway, may isang may critical thinking sa ballet na mas may cognitive eh. May cognitive eh. May
Yeah.
cognitive pa sa ballet. Can you share with us bakit ganon? Kasi some people think na you know how to dance, you just dance. Pero isang competency and isang skill na sasabi both may thinking. Bakit?
Yeah. Well, uh kasi nga, in dance, I mean, learning ballet, it's like a science, but at the same time, there's there's amount of freedom behind, say, dance concepts, but at the same time it's still a learned skill. So there's a bit of like a science starts. You can't do, say, a certain step until you learn maybe three or four different steps, simpler, and then that's the only time you can learn, say, uh
Yeah.
a grand jeté, for example. In order to do a grand jeté, you need to do a plie, you need to be able to do a tendu, which is to
I'll
point
ask
your
you
toes,
that
and
later,
you know
later. When you can.
so that's why, when you're learning ballet, you have to start from basics, and then as you get more experience and as you get more skilled, then you can do the more difficult steps, and then you can ultimately string that all together in a choreography and do more difficult choreography. But
Okay, before we go,
it's
before we
still,
go,
yeah, sure.
before we go, let me ask you. I was informed that you don't get dizzy. Why is it that 32 pirouettes, but you don't get dizzy? Can you tell us the science about it? Why is it that
Well,
ballet dancers?
that's again, it's a skill. It's called
Yes.
spotting, spotting. It's called spotting, where you look in front at one person or one thing in front. On stage, normally it's a red light in the center, and your head, as you turn, it's the last to leave, and as you turn, it's the first to arrive. So you look at one spot and you're turning consecutively, but your head is spotting, and so you don't really get dizzy. If you do your job right and you spot, you don't really get dizzy because you are actually just looking and focused on that one spot in the center in front of you.
And it requires a lot of training.
Practice, training,
I
and as you
see.
get older, it results in a lot of like pains on your neck.
Oh my God. Oh, don't leave. Don't leave. We'll ask, or let's have a gap and then we'll come back. Okay. Yeah,
Sure,
so can we
sure,
have,
Jackie.
yeah, good. Okay. Can we have the, I'm so happy to know that my good friend Vic Alcuas is watching, and he posted great interview. Oh, kapatid, may utang pa ako sa iyo doon sa mag-write up natin sa Ave Maria. Then Pearly is also watching, and my friends from NEDA is also watching. Owie Mariano of PSTD, and Attorney John Soniga. Wow, ang daming nanonood sa atin ngayon. Anyway, so let's go back to ballet, how we relate that to HR. Can we have uh, Miss Lisa Macuja again? Yes, I researched because I hear this from my mom and from my nieces, and these are actually terminologies also for HR. To bend is plie.
Mm-hmm.
Am I
Yes,
right? To bend is
that's
yes.
correct.
So
Mm.
we need that. We need that for HR. That sometimes we have to bend. Then to stretch is and then what is
Tendu.
the
Entendu.
entendu
Mm.
entendu. Then to rise, which is usually we do when we are doing our motivation. Is to rise is Ma'am
Relevé.
Lisa.
Relevé.
Relevant. I don't want to pronounce it because you will just laugh at me. So entendu, releve, and then to glide. You are like a swan gliding in your organization. What do you call that?
Glisse.
What do you glisse,
Glisse. Glisse.
glisse. Then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, everybody would like to recover, to bounce back, and what is to jump? To
Sauté.
jump is
Sauté.
sotte.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you mentioned earlier the difficult one, jete
Oh, a
earlier.
grand jeté. Grand jeté or a
Yes.
big jeté. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How about that one when you are really would like to be fast, darting, darting?
Ah, that's a PK.
Yes, that's a big K.
Yeah,
And then
PK.
of
Uh-huh.
course, now that we are moving, we're turning into something, transitioning to something. Turning is actually what do you call that? Turning is
The
per.
pirouette. Pirouette.
Okay,
Pirouette.
so those are the
To turn.
things that are being trained to to dancers, ballet dancers, and then they have that critical thinking and they put that into their system. And I think that is
Mm-hmm.
what we can gather as HR people. Now tell us the basic movements. Lloyd Luna, and of course, my friend Femery used to be a ballet student. Can you just teach us for, say, 3 minutes what are the things that we need to do while we're at home, locked down? Can you tell
Well,
us,
you know, I
is it
well,
just
the
okay?
first thing really is proper posture. That's the very first
Okay,
thing in ballet is you need to let's try this exercise. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and then in a circular movement bring them down, feeling that there is something caught in between your shoulder blades.
I'm
Yeah,
doing
and it
that now.
shouldn't
Okay,
fall, right? Okay. I call it my pencil for posture because I ask my students to imagine that there's a pencil stuck in between their shoulder blades and it should not fall. And that's the posture that you need to have while you're doing ballet. Yeah, while you're dancing. But it's also very good posture to have while you're working, maybe while you're on the computer, because it's something that basically will help you to get proper circulation in your body
oh,
so that when
that's
you
good.
breathe, you know, I mean, I don't know about you, but I just assume the proper posture like this, and already I feel lighter, I feel
Yeah,
more
yeah,
energized, and I feel more ready to conquer a task. So
yeah.
this kind of working, it's very unhealthy, and you do the proper pencil for posture, and everything is again lighter. You engage your abs, you have a nice long back, and you're able to breathe better, and your blood is circulating more. So again, it's making your body um, function at its optimum. Yeah. um, Another basic exercise is to be able to, like, say, lift yourself. We call it in dancing, we call it pulling up. So that means you instead of grounding yourself and making gravity win over you, over your own energy, you try to pull up and extend your body off the weight. Say if you're sitting down, off the weight of your hips, or if you're standing up, off the weight of your feet. on your feet. So you actually um, try as much as possible to uh, go up with your entire body. You fight gravity, and that again creates a lightness in your step and proper
Oh,
posture and
ah,
proper proper muscle engagement that you
I
are
see.
able to achieve good circulation, and hopefully everything will feel better, and you'll be able to function at 100%. That's another basic, pull up.
Pull up
And then, as you mentioned, the most basic step in ballet is to plie, or to bend your
a
knees,
band. Yes.
bend, and then to straighten, tendu, which is to straighten. So, the lower you plie, the higher and the longer you're able to strengthen up afterwards. So, in other words,
I love
like
it.
as in
I love
life,
it.
no, as in life, the lower you go, the
I love it.
higher you're going to be able to
I
bounce back. Now,
like that.
you can use
Yes.
that as an analogy to
Yes.
say the more you prepare, the
Yes.
better you're going to be able to perform. If you plie lower and prepare more, then the higher your performance is going to be, the
Yes.
higher you're going to be able to jump. You can also use it as an analogy for maybe the lower you go, or the deeper you go into something, then the more the better again your the higher again the quality of your performance will be. So it's something that's very basic for ballet and for life.
I see. Now, uh, can can ballet be taught online? You have a
Yes,
school
it
now. You have
can.
a school now.
Yes,
Can you tell us
yes.
about what you're doing in your school now?
I was able to transition the Lisa Macuja School of Ballet into 100% online at the moment, now that we're on quarantine. So I have a team of teachers and demonstrators and hosts. We are on Zoom, and we get the kids to and parents to learn ballet with us online. We have two programs: regular ballet class program, which we meet 3 times a week in that program, and the certificate program, wherein we meet 5 times a week. Um, and yeah, it's really great because we're able to the scope at the moment. I have students logging in from Malaysia. I have students logging in from the United States of America. I have students logging in from Taiwan, from Indonesia, and the various provinces of the Philippines, and of course, Metro Manila. And we are able to engage the little ones dancing with their parents. We have a dance
Wow,
with
I
me
love that.
class series,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
where the little ones are able to dance with their parents. So they have a partner and they're able to dance, and even the parent gets a nice dance based
Or
workout.
Jehan, listen to
Yeah,
this.
we're
Yes.
we're developing a program for ballet based workout for senior citizens. We're also
Wow.
developing a program for ballet based workout for people who just like to sit down and maybe work out while sitting down in front of their computer. We're doing a lot of innovation at the moment in order to um, uh, teach ballet online.
How can they register or enroll?
All the
Do
information is up on our social media accounts. That's and our website. So that's Lisa Macuja School of Ballet on Facebook, at Lisa Macuja School on Instagram. For Ballet Manila, it's Ballet Manila Official for Facebook, and Ballet Manila for Instagram. And my own personal accounts, that's at Lisa Macuja on Instagram, and Lisa Macuja colon ballerina, Lisa Macuja
oh,
Elizalde colon ballerina on Facebook. That's my public figure page.
You
All of the
already
information is there. Yes,
you
and our
really have
website.
transition.
Yeah.
You really have transition into the new normal. But let us go back. I'm interested. Parents and kids dancing together online.
Yes, yes, and it's a fantastic program because it really builds a lot of skills and bonds the parent with their child. It's amazing. I teach the Twinkle Toes Dance with Me series once a week, and I love seeing the kids have fun with their parents.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
we also have like floor bar where we do ballet movements while lying down on our yoga mats. It's again, it's a learning experience for all of us because I'm learning how to teach online. Everybody's learning how to teach online at the same time. It's very different from teaching in the studio because at the moment we really cannot, in the studio I'm so used to grabbing the limb of the student or grabbing the shoulder or you know placing the hands, the fingers together. I actually grab the
That's
fingers
like my
and place them
mom.
in the ballet hand,
Oh,
and now everything has to be verbal, so my verbal
yeah.
skills are really being polished here, so explaining every movement. But what I like about teaching online is you actually um, uh, learn so much also about the theory behind how to teach a movement, how to explain a movement. Kasi ang
Yes.
daming mga teachers sinasabi, "Oh, gayahin niyo na lang ako."
Yun lang
You know,
ako.
just
Yes,
copy
yes,
me, and
yes,
and and
yes.
the and the student can't just keep on. Of course, it really helps if you're able to demonstrate very well. Then the student can benefit from learning by copying you if you're able to demonstrate very well. But if you can't really demonstrate that well, you have to explain the technique and the method and the procedure
Yes.
behind executing a certain step properly. And you also have to tell the child, okay, you need to learn this step so that later on when we're dancing you will be doing this step properly, so because it's a logical sequence of steps.
Yeah, that is a
um,
critical thinking. Yeah.
so again, and applying it to HR, that's the same way you are able to mentor.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
if
Exactly.
you're yeah if the person you are mentoring does not explain the reason behind, or does not know the purpose behind what you're trying to teach them,
Right. Right.
and you just tell them, oh, you have to do this because this is the way I do it. Then there's hindi na build yung value and the level of
Yes.
investment
Yes.
of
That's true.
the student
That's
into
true.
getting it right and building, and that will enable the student, kasi nga, as I said, ballet is a passed on art form. So my students hopefully will be able to pass on what I've taught them to the next generation of dancers.
Yes. Yes.
So
Very
if
good.
they don't understand the technique in the first place, they won't be able to pass it on.
Right, right. Yan ang tinatawag ko, Lisa, sa mga estudyante ko sa UNP at sa San Beda. Yung sa San Beda, parokya ni Jesse. Yung sa UNP, kulto ni Jesse. Kasi pass on. What the
Mm.
insights that, sabi ko, you cannot read it, you cannot get it from the book eh. You have to listen to me and then see me as a person. So, si Femery at ako, gusto mag-aral sa'yo. Is there an age limit if you will still learn, enroll in your ballet? Is there an age limit for
No,
learning? Oh, Fe, Maria,
no,
mag-join
I have
tayo.
I was able to, at one point I was teaching a 75-year-old woman
Ay, hindi ba
who
naman
who
kami
was
ganun katanda?
who was going on point, she really
I see.
wanted to go on point, as in talagang everyday siya nagpa-practice kasi committed siya talaga.
Oh, Fe
So
Maria na yung
there's
ating
no
ano.
age limit, so
Okay, okay.
I can give
Now,
you the first lesson now, ballet hand there.
sige, sige. Okay,
Yeah,
bale.
so you bring your thumb to the line of your middle finger. That's a ballet hand, and you soften your fingers. There you go. That's your first ballet lesson, Jesse.
Thank you very much. Okay, ang bilis po ng oras. If we still have time for second season, can we invite you again sa second season?
Sure, you know how to contact me. Just send me an email.
Kasi ang na-miss natin, we were so focused on the HR. Next time, we'll gather yung human resource, what the employees can really gather. So we now look at the slant of the employees. How can they be just like ballet dancers? Yung parang sumunod. Para bang kung sa orchestra, di ba? You don't go outside of what is in the music or else hindi magiging maganda yung melody. So let us hindi natin na-discuss po yung sa you have to come back. We were not able to discuss yung sa culture, putting aesthetics in culture. So pagbalik na lang yun. So
Sige.
nag-overturn na then can we ask this before you go, before your parting message, sa mga roles that you had? I watched you, Giselle, Romeo and Juliet. I watched you in Swan Lake. Ano po doon talagang which actually you really love? Yung talagang pinakagusto mo na ginawa. Para bang sa HR, acquisition, compensation, yung talagang pinagyayabang mo, it's that you really hold it. Of the roles that you perform on stage, ano po yung pinaka what was it that you were really so, after that you were really euphoric and you're so happy, you embraced Sir Fred because wow, this is it. Among the roles that you did, share it with
Well,
us.
actually, I think my most beloved roles really are the roles that call for more drama, more
Wow,
interpretation, instead
wow.
of just plain ballet technique and strength and technical ability. So I really love roles that push me to explore myself as an artist rather than as a technical dancer on stage. You know,
Wow.
I can jump, I can turn, I can show off my technique. You know, these are the roles like Kitri in Don Quixote or Medora in Le Corsaire. But the roles that really push me to the limits of my artistic ability is are the roles like Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, Giselle in Giselle, Nikia in La Bayadere, where there's a lot of drama involved, so there's a lot of interpretation, and I love how every performance can be performed differently. You know, so there's a difference between how Giselle reaches or even looks at Romeo in Act One, and then it's different in Act Two, and then it's different in Act Three. Um, when she grows up and she becomes a woman and she actually has the courage to take her own life. It's again, it's a whole process where I I am able to inject a lot of my own experiences into the interpretation, and it's not just really doing steps, it's a whole picture.
Okay. So there is a comment here from past president of Prima, Obet Policarpio. Mega thanks, Miss Lisa, for being a great inspiration and source of motivation, strength, hope, and happiness and blessings.
Oh,
Wow.
thank
So
you.
any before I say thank you very much for being here, I will invite you in our next session for
All right.
a message for everybody who's listening to us before we end up our show.
Well, I guess the only thing I can tell everyone is you know, I may have been able to give you some form of advice on how to cope. You know, the decision needed, the commitment needed, the mentoring needed, the hard work needed behind any project or any form of commitment or any goal that you want to achieve. But at the end of the day, we really are we really need to take care of ourselves also, especially during this time. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to um, um, not be productive 100% of the time. It's very difficult to work from home. And it's very difficult to cope with all the changes that are happening in our lives at the moment. But I think the most important thing is to have faith that this too shall pass, and to do everything in our power to help ourselves, because if we help ourselves first, then we will be able to help others.
Wow! Alam mo, ladies and gentlemen, babalik po si Ma'am Lisa. That is such an inspiring mga message to us. But you know, she is actually a person, yung word niyang coping. Chismis tayo. Remember, yung kanilang Star City got burned before a performance. Next time that she will be back, yan po ang kukunin natin sa kanya. That experience. Because yeah, you're still there, Ma'am Lisa. Yung pabalik. It's not anymore the ballet. Doon yung person. Kasi we need that. We are, di ba, we are bouncing back. We are in the recovery. Kunin natin doon yung saan siya naghugot ng strength. Di ba? Kasi that time we invited her, family, and I invited her to be a speaker in the national convention. And then when I called up, si Dante told me she's still weeping. Then I said yes, as a friend. Yes, I relate. Ladies and gentlemen, watch us again when we have Miss Lisa Macuja. Hindi na bale ang kukunin natin. Doon tayo sa, kasi alam mo, I will now go back. Ang dami po na nagre-retrench ngayon. I did not ask that from you, ha? Yung mga ballet dancers, yung doon sa, she's also very much involved sa Star City. Ang dami nagre-retrench. So we'll have to ask from her. She's, yun na nga, she's not only for the technique, which she really hardly, tediously took it in her life. Yung talagang what she's now, because it's actually the years of practice. Pero tanong natin pagbalik. Tanong natin talaga yung saan niya nahugot yun. Maybe sa ballet. Maybe dun sa roles na mga ginawa niya. Na nagkaroon siya ng, nauna pa sa COVID eh. Nagkaroon siya ng isang disruption sa buhay. And again, she just like a swan. She glided gracefully. Of course, she wept. I would like that. She's a friend and I would like that. So ladies and gentlemen, nag-overtime na tayo. What is my conclusion for what we did this lunchtime? What makes a good dancer? What makes a good HR? Dancer, ballet dancer, and HR. What I gathered, dedication. Dedication. From the start, you know that you are committed in what you do. So the career path. Now that we're on the lockdown, let's try to see. Let us try to review. Is this what I would like to do? Because we cannot have that dedication if you are not really full into that. Then the other one is the discipline. Can you see how Lisa Macuja moves? She's so graceful, but I know it's the training, it's the discipline. Then the motivation that you like to do it. Dedication, discipline, motivation, and determination. You are determined that you're going to do it. Long, nag-overtime ka, long hours of practice, long hours of, I am now a consultant, and would you believe, because maybe of my job in Inquirer before, I am actually editing a survey and a book. And the patience that I have to read, look at the different angles, and that is actually the determination. Just like what Lisa shared with us. You are the choreographer, but you are not actually the one dancing. So baka mas maarte pa yung choreographer doon sa dancer. Hindi po. Ganun din ang HR. Ganun din yung editor. And then the last one is focus. So dedication, discipline, motivation, determination, and focus. That is what I gathered. So ladies and gentlemen, I just hope you love what we had today. It's a Saturday, it's supposed to be light, but light nga na malalim. We were your lunch date. And then lessons we'll learn, ballet lessons we'll learn for HR. Ito po si Jesse Rebustillo, your host sa HR Hotline.